look at what is happening in the world of sports. Now, India is taking on Bangladesh in a two-match test series, the second of which is scheduled to begin tomorrow. Remember, India had won the first match convincingly after being beaten in the ODI matches. My colleague Karishma Singh spoke to the former Australian cricketer Brad Hogg about the Indian cricket team's current form and how they are putting up the India versus Bangladesh test series. Listen in to this exclusive conversation.
No, thanks very much for having us, Karishma. I'm looking forward to this interview. You're going to put me on the hot spot, so let's see what we've got.
Brad, of course, India leading this test series 1-0, but Rohit Sharma is unavailable for the second test as well. How are you looking at India's composition for this all-important test versus Bangladesh?
Oh, look, Shubman Gill made 100 last test match opening the batting, and for me, I think that's just the start of something special. He needed to get those triple figures. He made a brilliant 91 in Brisbane against Australia a couple of years ago. To win that series against Australia in Brisbane was a huge feat. So for me, he's going to have huge confidence going into this test match and play with freedom. So for me, Rohit Sharma, yes, leader, you want him to be playing there, but I think India's depth is just too strong for Bangladesh.
And apart from Shubman Gill, we've had Cheteshwar Pujara who's come into form. Shreyas Iyer is there. Virat Kohli, of course, regaining his old self. So it is a good sign for India.
It's a good sign, but we're going to be in a pitch here at Mirpur where it's going to turn, apparently. So there's going to be a lot of turn. And Bangladesh have got two dominant left-arm off-spinners that have got a lot of wickets on this surface. And with the Indian batting lineup full of right-handers, that's going to be a big issue. So, yeah, you look out those names that you just said, but the most important cog is Pant, how he plays the left-arm spin, and also Axar Patel with the bat as well. Can he hang around and help negate the left-arm off-spinners turning the ball in?
And the Indian bowling lineup, what do you make of that? Kuldeep Yadav has had a great first test match versus Bangladesh. How are you looking at the Indian bowling lineup specifically for this test match versus Bangladesh?
Look, I think it's a very well balanced bowling lineup for India. They've got some good pace bowlers. They might go with Unadkat and rest Siraj. Just watch young Siraj's workload, and that will be good too. Just have that left arm pace option, and he's a good T20 bowler on this type of surface with those cutting deliveries. He could be a handful as well. But you've got Patel and Ashwin, right arm off spin and left arm off spin. Which beats or which is good to have with the left-hand, right-hand combination of the Bangladesh batting lineup. But you've also got something different there in Kuldeep Yadav with a leg spinner, a left-arm leg spinner. So you've got a lot of variety there in that lineup. Bangladesh don't have that variety with their bowling attack. So India, with their bowling lineup, are way ahead of Bangladesh with the options that they've got.
With the first test win, Brad, of course, India taking right steps in direction of the World Test Championship as well. There is a lot of test match that is left for India to play. Australia, of course, are coming home as well. So one test versus Bangladesh, 4 more against Australia. It is going to be a very exciting period as far as test cricket goes and India goes.
Oh, definitely, and I think on home soil you've got to back yourself as the home team, but you don't want to put pressure on yourself and worry about the end result, worry about a World Test Championship final. You've got to play each game as it comes, and I think that's where England are starting to really dominate our test level and white ball cricket. They're bringing that white ball freedom that they have into the test game. They're playing without any fear, and I think India have got to do that against Australia when we come to your shores. But make sure you have the conditions in your favour, like we do when everyone comes to Australia. And I think that's the thing with Test cricket. Or world cricket, when you travel to different venues, you want to be tested by those different conditions. And that's what India does for us. So it's up to us to find out and pick a team that can counteract the dominance of Patel, Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav, and even Jadeja if he's fit.
Brad, you spoke about England. That was going to be my next question. The kind of test cricket that they've played, do you see more countries adopting that form of test cricket, making it more exciting and possibly bringing a revolution if we talk about test cricket?
Oh, look, I already think that other teams are doing it. You look at Pant, what he does for Indian cricket. He comes out and just dominates from ball one and goes after the bowling. You don't want every batsman to do that. You want to have a good mix of quality test cricketers again, with power cricketers as well. If you look at the Pant Pujara combination, that is the perfect combination for test cricket. You've got one player who's trying to wear the bowling attack out. So when you're playing Australia in a 4-test series, Pujara is so important in those first 2 test matches because of our pace attack. You just wear them down, keep them out on the field as long as possible. And then that's where Park comes in. Once they're worn out, he takes the game away. He's very much like an Adam Gilchrist. But you talk about England as well, the aggressiveness that they play. I was just looking at their test matches to come. They've got New Zealand for 2 tests, I think it is, and they've got Australia for 5 tests. And I think they might have another couple, but they have a chance of getting into the World Test Championship final if they win all of those test matches. And the way they're playing the positiveness, I can see them winning the Ashes and challenging for a World Test Championship spot in the final.
Brad, there is a lot of talk these days about workload management, injury management, especially for players. Do you think going forward, 3 separate teams for 3 formats is going to be how it's going to be looked at? India also thinking in that direction, possibly of a different captain and a coach for the T20 format. Do you think that's how it's going to be going forward?
Well, India have that luxury with the depth that they've got. Other teams don't. Australia's starting to lose that depth that they used to have. We used to be able to have 2 teams that dominated world cricket. So we've lost that mantle, and that's where India's taken over. England are doing it really well at the moment. But when you talk about workloads, I'm not worried about batsmen. I'm not worried about spin bowlers. The more time you spend out in the middle as a batsman and a spin bowler, the better it is for you. You can keep your form up and you can keep that confidence up. But it's more the fast bowlers that I'm worried about. Fast bowlers are an important ingredient in our game. When you've got someone bowling sheer pace 145, 150 plus, everyone loves it. All the viewers want to see that. But chopping and changing from 2020 cricket to Test cricket is too much strain on that particular art of our game. So for me, we've got to watch the type of cricket and how much of that type of cricket we play so that we look after the fast bowlers. It's not so much the others, it's the fast bowlers that we've got to look at. If you look around, Australia have got injury problems with their pace attack. India have got it. England have got it as well. And you look at someone like Umar Malik, and I'm sorry for Umar Malik fans out there, but he's only played a handful of long version cricket. You can't put him in a test match. If you put him in a test match, he's going to end up like Jofra Archer. So for me, I think the powers to be, the boards, the ICC have to sit down and go, right, how do we schedule our cricket so that this particular form or this particular part of our game, the fast bowlers, get enough work behind them, enough cricket behind them, so that they can play test cricket and bowl 30 overs in a test match, 40 overs in a test match and not break down. I was talking to Alan Donald about it, and he played a lot of county cricket. A lot of West Indies played a lot of county cricket, and they just bowled and bowled and bowled. 4-day cricket, day after day, and they were getting the overs under their belt. They didn't break down as much as the bowlers today, simply because they were used to that type of cricket and they were used to bowling long spells. Our bowlers now aren't used to it, and the chop and change is causing a few issues as well.
Brad, before I let you go, like you said in the beginning, I am going to put you in a spot and ask you who is going to win this test match, India or Bangladesh?
For me, I think India are the absolute favourites. The only problem that India face is Shakib and Taijul. two left-arm off-spinners that really dominate on this particular surface. How they counteract that with their right-arm batsman, because both of them are left-armers turning the ball away, that is probably going to be the story of the match. Who wins that contest or dominates that phase of the game will win, and I think India will get on top because Pant will come out and smash 100 off about 75 balls.
You sound like a very big Rishabh Pant fan, if I'm not wrong to say.
Look, I am a Pant fan, but for me, if I was playing against him in Test cricket, I'd set a one-day field straight away because his record in one-day cricket isn't as good as Test cricket. When it comes to Test cricket, people are trying to get him out. They put people in catching positions. They don't have as many out on the deep, so he can go hard out the ball. But he still takes it on when they've got men out in the boundary. So for me, straight away, one-day field when he comes out and say, if you want to take me from ball one, go after me. So that's probably how I'd play him. But I just love his attitude. I love his cheekiness behind the stumps, and I love his work behind the stumps. Yeah, he's a gymnast, and he provides a little bit of excitement behind the stumps as well. So I'm always looking forward to what he's got to offer.
Well, Brad, thank you so much for your time. And all of us are, of course, going to be watching the India versus Bangladesh test from the 22nd to the 26th of December, 9 a.m. onwards on Sony Sports 10-5.